The European Commission has set out proposals designed to ease the worst effects of a rupture with Britain if a post-Brexit trade deal is not reached. It's proposing reciprocal contingency measures covering air and road connections for 6 months and fishing for up to a year. The US has reported its highest daily number of deaths from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. More than 3,100 deaths were reported on Wednesday. US regulators have sued Facebook, saying the company is abusing its dominance in social media to crush smaller competitors. Antitrust officials are calling for Facebook to be broken up, with Instagram and WhatsApp sold off. And Azerbaijan is staging a military parade to mark its military victory against Armenia in their conflict for the control of the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region. In the capital, Baku, more than 3,000 military personnel have been parading.
Bangladeshi government moves about 1,600 Rohingya refugees from the mainland to an island in the Bay of Bengal, reportedly against their will. The Ethiopian government says it has seized or killed most commanders of rebels in Tigray, but their leader disputes the report. China's space agency releases pictures of a Chinese flag that a Chinese spacecraft placed on the moon Thursday. And in the US, Warner Brothers says each of its 2021 movie theater releases will also open on the same day for streaming on HBO Max.
We begin with the coronavirus situation here in Japan, where the spike in infections continues to reach new peaks and upend daily life for people across the nation. Thursday saw another record with more than 2,900 cases confirmed in a single day. Tokyo reported 602 new infections, a record daily tally for the capital. More than 45,000 people have now tested positive. Experts warn cases involving elderly people who face higher risk of getting seriously ill are on the rise.
The number of newly infected people who are aged 65 or older, as well as the ratio against the total new cases, are increasing. We need to protect our elderly from being infected at all opportunities.
Hospitals, welfare facilities, and schools in the northern prefecture of Hokkaido have been hit by cluster infections. Officials are asking residents in the capital city of Sapporo to stay at home and avoid travel to other areas as much as possible until Christmas. Bars and restaurants are also asked to close early.
It is difficult to provide usual medical services during the New Year holidays in the first place. We must ease the burden on the healthcare system before that period so that it doesn't become overwhelmed.
Asahikawa City is facing a shortage of healthcare workers. Residents there will also be asked to refrain from non-essential outings.
After shopping, I go home right away. My relatives gather to celebrate the New Year every year, but maybe not this time.
All of us have to do whatever little we can do.
The western prefecture of Osaka confirmed 415 new cases on Thursday. A cluster infection occurred at a hospital there that treats serious COVID-19 cases. 8 patients and 5 medical staff tested positive earlier this month.
The cluster occurred in a different department in a different building. At this point, I don't think the hospital will be forced to stop treating coronavirus patients.
More than 173,000 cases have been reported across Japan since the pandemic began. Over 2,500 people have died.
Currently, 543 people are in a serious condition. The number remains high and keeps increasing. Our whole society should share a sense of crisis.
Government officials and experts will meet on Friday to discuss how they'll proceed with a domestic travel promotion campaign aimed at revitalizing the economy. Railway companies say only 15% of Shinkansen bullet train seats have been reserved for the New Year holiday period, about 1.6 million seats. That's less than half of reservations 1 year ago and the smallest ever. Now, the pandemic is making it hard for some foreigners in Japan to make ends meet. A panel of experts on immigration policy say the government should find out about infections and offer help. They put their recommendations in a report to Justice Minister Kamikawa Yoko. The panel says a growing number of foreign residents are suffering harmful impacts, such as losing their jobs. They're urging the government to quickly set up a system to collect information on foreigners who contract the coronavirus. And they say the government should make life easier for struggling foreigners by telling them about the support that's available. The World Food Programme has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in an online ceremony. The UN organization is fighting harder than ever to combat global hunger. Due to the pandemic, Thursday's ceremony was held at the WFP's headquarters in Rome, not in Oslo as usual. The event was broadcast on the Nobel Foundation's website. WFP Executive Director David Beasley said 270 million people are facing starvation because of war, climate change, the pandemic, and other reasons. Beasley added the prize as a call to action.
When we don't have enough money, nor the access we need, we have to decide which children eat and which children do not eat, which children live, which children die. How would you like that job? Please, don't ask us to choose who lives and who dies.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee says the WFP was chosen for its efforts to combat hunger and improve the conditions for peace in conflict areas. The committee stressed it hopes to focus world attention on the UN organization so it can receive the financial support it needs to prevent a hunger crisis. Defense ministers from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and its regional partners have held discussions over security online. The United States and China's growing rift was reflected in a dispute over the wording of the joint declaration, although a diplomatic solution emerged in the end. The U.S., China, Japan, Russia, and other countries joined ASEAN on Thursday for Day 2 of the bloc's security meeting. Sources say senior officials were previously at odds over what to call the region in text about the importance of free and open sea lanes. The United States reportedly favored using Indo-Pacific, but China and Russia said that was too vague. The final declaration referred to the Asia-Pacific and Indian Ocean regions. Japan and the U.S. have been calling for a free and open Indo-Pacific with Australian and Indian support. China has opposed those efforts, regarding them as ways to contain its own increasing maritime activities. Lawmakers from Japan's ruling parties have backed a number of tax reforms designed to kickstart the economy and get businesses to become more environmentally friendly. They say the measures can offset the fallout from the coronavirus pandemic and help Japan hit its long-term goal of carbon neutrality. The Liberal Democratic Party and its coalition partner Komeito have adopted the package for fiscal 2021 starting in April. It includes a freeze on tax hikes for land, including residential and commercial plots. It also extends tax breaks for eco-friendly vehicles by 2 years. The measure was set to end in April. The package includes a range of incentives for firms to work toward targets set by the administration of Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide. The government says it wants to promote a rapid shift to digital technology across all industries and cut Japan's greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by the year 2050. Firms will be rewarded for embracing innovative and eco-friendly technology in their production lines. And companies that go digital by using cloud services or other options will also be eligible for tax benefits. The government plans to submit a bill incorporating the package to the Diet next year. Now, Japan's Prime Minister is taking a hands-on approach to the country's revitalization. Suga visited the northeastern prefectures ravaged by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. The Prime Minister said the recovery work is in its final stage, nearly 10 years after the disaster.
Japan's revival is unthinkable without the reconstruction of this Tohoku region. We will support efforts to continue rebuilding the disaster-hit areas.
It's the first time Suga has gone to the area since taking office in September. In Rikuzen Takata City, Iwate Prefecture, He visited a memorial park where a single pine tree survived the tsunami. Suga offered flowers for the victims there. He then visited Miyako City, which suffered extensive damage from the tsunami. He viewed the area from a seawall rebuilt on elevated land. The Prime Minister also inspected a structure preserved as a reminder of the disaster. A Mongolian who came to Japan and fought his way to the top in the traditional sport of sumo has taken a step toward his next goal. Kakuryu is a Yokozuna Grand Champion. He wants to become a stable master and help train the next generation of wrestlers. So he's become a Japanese citizen.
I've been able to come this far thanks to sumo. I need to repay that debt. I made my decision so I can nurture good wrestlers and show my gratitude to the Sumo Association.
The Japan Sumo Association requires any foreign wrestler who wants to become a stable master after he retires to become a Japanese citizen. Kakuryu is 35 years old. He made his sumo debut in 2001 and reached a top rank of Yokozuna in 2014. He has 6 titles under his belt. 12 tournaments have been held since November 2018. Kakuryu has missed 8 because of injuries. Last month, the Yokozuna Deliberation Council issued an unprecedented warning over his absences. Kakuryu is following in the footsteps of another Mongolian-born Yokozuna, Hakuho. He became a Japanese citizen in September last year.